You can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is bringing back Bowl for Kids' Sake. Create a team, raise donations, and join the bowling celebration at Sun Valley Lanes and Games on May 2nd. Every contribution helps to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships for Lincoln's young people. Learn more and register today at bbbsmidlands.org under the Events tab. Big Brothers Big Sisters, igniting the power and promise of Lincoln's youth for over 50 years.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. A light breeze, we'll see national high around 66. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, the low around 40. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy, the national high around 70. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77 for Pioneers.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into it. Welcome in. It is Ticket Weeknights here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. As always, we are kicking off the week on Ticket Weeknights with the Husker Football Hour with Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. He joins us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Let's bring him in now, Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. Tom, happy Monday, my friend. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Oh, you know, it's a bright, beautiful day here in the 402. College basketball is on. We're rounding into baseball season. Spring practice is starting. I know Frank Sinatra would tell me it's December, but Tom, I'm in the mindset that this is truly the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, it's, you can't beat college football season for me. With the baseball World Series, I love that. And then now we have basketball starting a little bit, but spring is great. So I absolutely. Now some are not very entertained by the college basketball tournament we're having, but
well, that's their own fault.
Yeah, it's. Over the years, there have been underdog stories, but it's always been kind of a power school dominated tournament. And frankly, I think the ratings will probably bear that out. The people like the big names. Maybe the issue is they don't really necessarily consider SEC schools to be the brand names in basketball, but that appears to be changing.
It certainly does. I mean, the SEC rated out as one of the best conferences in college basketball history. And that, Tom, I think is a great point, because part of the magic and the madness of March is the upsets. But if they happen every year and we know to expect them, I'm not going to say you lose some of the magic, but you kind of lose some of the magic. I mean, we had in 2022, for example, that St. Peter's run to the Elite Eight, and then a 3 Blue Bloods and borderline Villanova Final Four. You've had your other 15s make a run. And so, this year, your Cinderella being a 10 seed coached by John Calipari and his Tyson Chicken and Walmart money, not really a Cinderella. But again, if you look at any tournament on a year-to-year basis, you can draw whatever conclusion you like. I don't think that the sport's in a bad spot just because it's a more favorites-heavy tournament this year.
No, I think it's just in a weird spot because we don't know where the revenue sharing is going to take us yet. And, obviously it looks like it's the SEC and the Big Ten are going to load up on everything. But we'll see. Again, we've talked about this before. It appears that the salary cap, if you were, is going to be $20.5 million. And schools will be able to do whatever they want with that amount, and then certainly add in NIL as they're able to. So, but there's some people. The basketball schools are quietly, waiting to see how this goes, because they think this is like the Big East schools who don't play football.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get the football TV money, but they can spend whatever they can raise on basketball, whereas a lot of the big schools aren't going to spend that much on basketball. I mean, everybody's probably going to spend that's what we hear, around $15 million to take care of the football program, the players, and now he's $5 million over for everything else, and that will be divided up. Who knows what Iowa will do?
Mm-hmm.
They like women's basketball and they like men's and they like this and that. Wisconsin has several mouths to feed, and they don't do a lot of big NIL. In Nebraska, we've got a volleyball thing. We've got men's and women's basketball. So, but the basketball people like Creighton and the Big East schools think, well, if we can raise $7 to $10 million a year, we'll outspend everybody on basketball. Mm-hmm. And so maybe this thing will tilt back their way a little bit. I mean, it's an interesting deal.
I'm glad you went that direction, Tom, because I was going to, try to play devil's advocate for a second, because on the one hand, no, the Big East schools don't have to pay for football, but on the other hand, they're not taking part in that football revenue. But I do think that you raise a good point, because there's a lot of basketball history and a lot of basketball tradition in the Big East as it's currently comprised. So, raising $7 to $10 million for basketball every year will probably be easier for a lot of those programs compared to, making men's basketball another program at some of these big schools where, maybe it gets a share of the salary cap, or maybe they have to raise all that money through NIL. So I think it's not an easier or a more difficult challenge for Big East schools. It's just a different challenge.
I think most power schools are going to give their money to football and men's basketball. Michigan AD came out and said that already. Mm-hmm. Here's where we're spending this on. As soon as we get our $20 million or whenever, as soon as they tell us we're ready to go, our $20 million is going to football and men's basketball, and that's it. And I think a lot of schools will follow suit there. The interesting question is, what will Troy Danon do? Mm-hmm. He's got a men's basketball program that could really use the help, but he just hired Danny Busboom-Kelly, who is going to expect to have elite volleyball players. Now, what I don't know is what do elite volleyball players need? What do they want in terms of money, and what are they getting? And I've never asked John Cook that. I would love to know. Maybe it's not that much. Maybe it's not a backbreaker. Maybe you could take care of the program with $500,000 or whatever. I don't know. Maybe less than $1 million. I don't know what they're getting. But I'm sure they're whatever the high price is, they're all going to want that. So maybe it is over $1 million a player. But what I'm saying is, the Big East schools will be able to do that. But the rub is they're not getting a handout from Fox or ESPN. They have to go talk to their people every year and ask for more and more and more. And, I don't know. I mean, guys like you and me are not going to be able to, can you write us another $20,000 check this year? Can you write us another $100,000 check? No.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, but try next door.
No, there's plenty of money in Omaha. There's plenty of sugar daddies who wear blue, but everybody's got a breaking point, I think, and they've been giving the last few years. It's just very interesting. I think people are going to say the tournament's going this way, but you never know; it might come back around. Although I think the top 20 schools in basketball will continue to give the money to basketball and take care of things. What we might see is the falling off of other sports, which would be too bad. Where schools either cut sports or else make them club, or they just can't afford to give them any NIL, so they're just not going to have anything. So, college baseball, what happens to that? I don't think a lot of Big Ten schools are going to spend that much on college baseball. Now Nebraska is another story, but the SEC schools will certainly spend on baseball if they can. Mm-hmm. So, but they won't spend on volleyball. You see what I'm getting? It's just everybody's going to have to pick something, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm really curious what Texas volleyball is great. Penn State is great. Wisconsin's great. We got Pittsburgh and Louisville now. What are these schools going to do with volleyball? I mean, Louisville likes the sport of basketball just a little bit, and they also play football. They've been known to play good football. They've got Jeff Brom, native son, so they got to take care of him. So these things are very interesting to see where volleyball and sports like that are going to end up in college baseball.
It is because, Tom, we'll learn a lot about these athletic directors and their vision for their programs, because we'll see who wants to compete nationally and who just wants to run their conference, right? I mean, I think about the Nebraska baseball example you just posed. Nebraska is not going to spend SEC or ACC level dollars on a baseball team. I would doubt they even get to Big 12 levels of spending on a baseball team. But, if Nebraska has its design set on hosting regionals, maybe they have to get there, right? With the lack of spending that we can forecast from Big Ten schools, the relative strength or weakness of the league, Nebraska can absolutely get by with spending less money nationally, but more money relative to the conference. But is that Troy Dannon's goal for baseball and volleyball? I'm glad you brought that one up too, because Troy Dannon, I think, has to play the athletic director game very carefully with that one, because you don't want to go in and make that program an insulting offer, right? You want to offer them what they're worth, maybe a little extra because of everything that they're doing for the sport and because, it is one of your flagship programs. But you also have to have that business background and say, we have to make you a fair or slightly generous offer, but we also have to be sure that they're not going to take an offer that is slightly less than what the team itself might be thinking, or the power brokers involved in it, that they don't take it as an affront, as a slap in the face, as a demeaning sort of offer. There's a very fine line to walk there for Troy Dannon.
Yes. But I do think Nebraska baseball is in a tough spot. Because they haven't delivered on that national stage, and not in a while, and the weather's tough. You're spending all kinds of money, but you might get games rained out or snowed out.
Yeah.
It's just a tough deal. Again, I don't know what the top dollars are for college baseball. I'm going to guess at the SEC level, they take care of people, and they get draft picks. They're competing with Major League Baseball clubs with a lot of these guys. Mm-hmm. And so if they can keep them in school with the NIL, it's a good deal for them. Question is, how much are they getting? So I think that Nebraska baseball it's fallen off a little bit. It used to be, I always said it was number 2. When the Van Horn years, it was number 2 behind football. Because people really loved, going to Omaha and winning and hosted regionals, and it was a big deal. I think volleyball's passed it up, and the men's basketball question is really interesting. And I didn't see this. I heard there was a debate last week on my Twitter about should they even have men's basketball, which
that's clickbagh. There's no way someone actually believes that.
Yeah, I can't believe that happened. Maybe it must have been trying to get engagement from people, but then I'm sure it did. But the question is, how important is it? And if there's a time to make a move, it's now, while this stuff is going on. And I really believe that Dannon can be for whoever's best friend in a lot of ways. To me, he's the first AD that I've seen at Nebraska. Go back to Bob Devaney, the AD, and keep going. It's who was a basketball fan or a basketball guy. He grew up in Iowa. He's in northern Iowa. Obviously, they've got good basketball tradition. The state of Iowa loves basketball more than Nebraska, but Nebraska's catching up. There's a lot, but the players now are better. Talent is better. The OSA select teams. Last year we had a kid from Aurora, Nebraska, grew up to be the first round pick of the Celtics. So there's hoops everywhere. So I think Dannon. I remember when Bill Moose was the AD. It was like a news bulletin if he ever showed up at a basketball game. Oh, Bill Moose is here. What he's doing? Is somebody in trouble? Troy Dannon is in that every game, and he's standing there in the tunnel, or he's sitting down on the baseline, watching every game. So, he has a genuine interest in the sport, and it's also men's and women's games he's at. So, I think basketball has got a friend in Troy Dannon, but as we've said, how much can he do? And maybe it's a situation where 1890 helps out the volleyball or helps out basketball, and the rest of the sports get crumbs. I mean, I just don't know how much money is out there. I think there's a lot, but they all need help.
They absolutely do. We've heard more on this station from Mark Manning and his program. And Tom, let's shout them out right here. Husker Wrestling, best finish in program history, runner up at the NCAA wrestling tournament. I mean, a lot of people around Nebraska know the name Mark Manning. That's a genuine dude. That is a real one, as the kids might say. What a moment for him and for the Nebraska raised Antrell Taylor to be a national champion. Of course, Ridge Lovett, national champion, Brock Hardy, runner up as well. Really cool moment over the weekend for Coach Manning and his guys, his program.
Yeah, I loved it. And look, I'm the first guy who has not written about wrestling very much. So, but I found myself changing channels between the Creighton game and Nebraska wrestling back and forth, and just the scenes, the smiles, the joy. You could just tell the excitement, the celebrations. Every year, Coach Manning, meets the media, and he's always fired up, and he loves to sell his sport, and he loves to sell his kids, and he's got great ones over the years. Nebraska wrestling is sort of an appreciated, but sort of an undernoticed gem. They aren't necessarily Iowa or Oklahoma State or right now Penn State, but they're always competitive. They've had their share of the greats and the Olympians, and Mark Manning's been there for all of it, and he's a legend, and probably he's like the legend next door that nobody really sees, but everybody saw it now, and I'm so glad that the spotlight was on them.
It's awesome for him, for that program. And Tom, I think it deserves just in the shout out of the grand scheme of things too. As we look at these programs, supposed to be, working with each other for the good of the athletic department, but fair or not, they're competing against each other for attention and for NIL funds. Nebraska wrestling did what to this point Husker baseball couldn't, right? Disappointing start to the year for Husker baseball. They didn't step into the void from a little bit of a letdown from Husker men's basketball. Husker wrestling said, "Oh, there's spotlight available. Thank you very much. It's our time. Let's go claim it."
Yeah. And again, it's these guys. I grew up in a wrestling house. My dad was a high school wrestling coach. I grew up sitting on the end of the bench. I'd go to the matches, and I'd sit there sort of on the end of the bench, and I'd just watch this whole thing. And when I got in high school, my junior year, I decided I was going to wrestle, and thinking, well, I watched all this growing up, and kind of like I know it's hard, but how hard can it be? And it just kicked my butt, and I lasted. I stuck it out, but by the end of the season, and I was in the JV, and I was not very good. But every day at practice, and trying to make weight and running up and down stairs, and I used to wear plastic sweats everywhere. I used to wear them under my clothes to school to try to lose weight, and the stuff these guys go through. These guys are, pardon the term, these guys are badasses. These guys are warriors, and to me they're the toughest guys, along with hockey. Hockey and wrestlers are the two toughest groups there are. Certainly football is right there too. I see wrestling and hockey as just a different level, almost sort of a warriors, or there's a certain honor to it. But just this stuff they go through, and the discipline it takes is unbelievable, and so. They're underappreciated, but that's it. That's everywhere, except for maybe the, Stillwater or Iowa City. But they're sort of, they don't ask for attention. If it comes, it's great. they're in it for the love of the sport. But what I really liked is, Nebraska fans, there's a big following, and they have sold it out at Devaney. And again, I'm so happy that they got their spotlight. They had a little press conference today. Good for them.
Good for them is right. Congrats to Coach Manning and his team on the runner-up on the national scale. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the show. Husker football open spring practice today. Husker basketball has some news in the form of a big foreign returner. We'll get into all that and more straight ahead on the Husker Football Hour with Tom Shatel.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day with a light breeze. We'll see an afternoon high around 66. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, the low around 40. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. An afternoon high around 70. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is bringing back Bowl for Kids' Sake. Create a team, raise donations, and join the bowling celebration at Sun Valley Lanes and Games on May 2nd. Every contribution helps to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships for Lincoln's young people. Learn more and register today at bbbsmidlands.org under the Events tab. Big Brothers Big Sisters, igniting the power and promise of Lincoln's youth for over 50 years.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal in a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Ticket Weeknight, Husker Football Hour. I'm Austin Orman, joined on our Allo Fiber VIP line by Tom Shatel, lead sports columnist of the Omaha World Herald. Check it out at omaha.com. Tom, you didn't mention your affinity for college football. That's the best time of year. We get our appetizer. Spring football started. It's back in the air. We did it.
Yeah, it's sorry about that. Yes, I'm ready for it. You know, I love the hoops, and we've had a great run here in Omaha, and it was a fun winter. But there's a lot of intrigue and a lot of fun stuff happening right now, and word about this for tomorrow a little bit, and. I really like where the program is going into this third spring, and that is sort of a no distractions, no nonsense approach right now. That is everything they're doing is focused on winning. There was a spring game was canceled. The Tennessee series was done away with. Why? In the name of winning, because it's time to win. I've heard people, well, they're paying this new GM $800,000. Did you really need that much? Just win. And I think people are of the mindset. The Husker fans are of the mindset. You took away our spring game. You took away our Tennessee. Just win. All we care about is just fine. Do what you need to do. Go win. And I really feel like other coaches at Nebraska over the years, it's easy to get caught up in this mentality of, you got to serve all these different masters. You've got to take care of the fans who don't like this uniform, or the fans who want this series on the non-conference, or they want their spring game, or they want this, or they want that. They want to go out and give speeches, go out and make appearances, do it. And I think rules at a point now where he put a stop to, and he's going to serve one master, and that's winning. And by God, Nebraska fans love to win, and they would take winning over all the other stuff. We talked about this before, Austin. I heard minimal complaints about the spring game going away. Mm-hmm. A lot of curious people, but look, if it's helping, if it's going to help the program, then why not? We'll figure something else out. Tennessee thing was allowed on Twitter. Didn't hear much about it otherwise. People, okay, if that's good. If that'll help us, fine. And I just feel like it's time to take care of Nebraska. It's time to take care of things and focus all the energy on that. And so I really feel like this spring, everything, there's a lot to do. There's a 105 roster that they need to get to. There's a lot of 17 transfers. Again, it's rule says when he got here, I'm not doing that. We're going to develop, but you do what you got to do to win. And he's by year 3, okay, he's the transfer guy now because they needed an influx of talent. So I feel like everything this spring is going to be, you know, a lot of decisions will be made on personnel and so on and so forth based on winning.
And I think I don't want to speak for you, but I would assume that your mindset isn't Matt Rule wasn't doing everything in his power to win before, right? It's just, I think after, 2 full seasons now at Nebraska, he has what he thinks is a clearer idea of what everything pointing toward winning in his program looks like. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes. And that happens. That's everywhere. And for him, we have to go back and realize when he was hired after Thanksgiving weekend in 22, he'd been out of the college game for 3 years. He was really in the NFL, so he didn't have a staff ready to coach college football necessarily, but he had a bunch of guys who were his guys, and so he brought his guys, and his first staff was basically like, okay, you're starting up a new office in a city. Well, take your team, your most trusted people, and go start that office and get it up and running. And I feel like that's what he was doing here. He's got a culture. He's got a way of football, and those guys he brought here all understood it. So it was like he was working from the ground up, and so. Now he's been in a couple of years, and actually midway through last year, he decided, okay, it's time to go to the next level. This isn't going to work. So he made a change offensive coordinator, and then he made a change at special teams. And this was a coach learning what it takes in the Big Ten and at Nebraska. So this is what you want. You want a coach who's going to bend and adjust on the fly. It's like halftime adjustments. You're adjusting as the thing, while the ball's in the air. So it's I've been really impressed by that, and I think I love the staff. He brought in Phil Snow, the old, the wise old fox, to come in and be a consultant. People go, well, we really need a consultant? I mean, you're the head coach. What are you doing? No, the more old guys, the better. The more wisdom and knowledge, the better. That's something Bill Pelini and Scott Frost never did. I'm the expert. I'm a young guy, but I know everything. Well, no. And so, you bring in these guys, and it's just all about winning. And I really like that. I like what he's done with his staff. I think this is one of the best staffs on paper that they've had since Osborne or Solich. So we'll see what they do. But I feel good that a lot of decisions will be made this spring that they'll be ready to hit the ground running in August.
And I just want to throw this out here, Tom, because I can hear some Husker fans or detractors, whatever you want to call them, depending on how you take this next comment, is, well, Matt Rule's very public facing, right? It seems like he's on the interview circuit. He's doing a lot of talking. How is that going to come to a close or dwindle down to be more of a focus on winning? And I think Matt Rule, number one, is very gifted as a speaker. I think that's good for the program to have out there. I think it's Matt Rule's personality, where he wants to promote his program. He's a good talker. Why would he not want to? And I think it's just different from what Husker fans have seen from the guys before him for how public facing Matt Rule is. But it's almost harder now, to put that toothpaste back in the tube, where if Matt Rule had come down, been, maybe a little skimpy on his public appearances, here and there, little shorter. Number one, it wouldn't be who he is. And it's always good to be genuine with folks. But maybe those Husker fans that are tougher to win over would have been more understanding if Nebraska had a 9-win season by now. Now it seems like he knows how to win, whatever that means. And now that the program seems like it's in a better spot, he can go out But I can see some Husker fans taking these comments of, oh, everything's going to be about winning now, and saying, well, where was that the first couple of years? I think what Matt Rule did was sell a program that needed selling, right? To boost up a program and its image. And of course, at the end of the day, winning's going to take priority. Winning will solve a lot of Nebraska's issues, real or perceived. There's not a right or a wrong way to handle these things. And I think at the end of the day, no matter what you think about, what Matt Rule says or how he does it, I think every Husker fan at the end of the day, to your point, is just on board with more winning.
Yes. And, absolutely, he came here wanting to win. But let's be honest. In this day and age, and they were, he certainly inherited some players, but it wasn't like Pelini inheriting Indomik and Sue.
Right.
And Jared Crick. It wasn't like Joe Gantz. It wasn't like Todd Peterson and Nate Swift were very good receivers. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like Bob Stoops taking over Oklahoma in '99, I believe. John Blake left him unbelievable talent. First year he won the national championship. Well, the best coaches can take other guys as players and win, and that happens. But we had this thing called the transfer portal. People were leaving, and so Frost was gone, and it wasn't like these guys were. The roster was necessarily, they had to go, and certainly a lot of guys stayed and they did develop them, but it wasn't like it was, loaded with. I think the first year, especially quarterback, the quarterbacks were getting hurt, and they didn't have a lot of great options. I think people understand that he was going to build it, and he's a builder, and it's a long-term build. And I thought Trev Albert sold it. Excuse me. Okay, we're not coming in here for a quick fix. We're getting the whole thing built the right way. So that's how it was sold. Do we want to win? Yes. I think people thought, based on Rule's background and his past, that they go to a bowl the second year. First year, they're 1-10 or whatever. He's trying to lay down the foundation. They actually did a pretty good. I think, didn't they win 4 or 5 games that first year? It was kind of like, and they had a couple of games where they played Maryland at home, and if they just called the right plays, they'd get in the end zone and win it, and maybe go to a bowl game that first year. So, anyway, again, as I've said, what we're seeing now is, it's not like he's taking it seriously. It's like he's figured some things out. He's got a better staff, but he's also figured out the job. And the job can't be, I'm pulled in all these different directions, and I'm making decisions trying to make people happy. The job has to be, we're here to win football games, and that's it. If you don't like the way we're doing it, too bad. And certainly, it's, the Nebraska media, and I've been part of this, and we certainly got on the Bo Pelini era for not doing enough and not winning enough or the right way, or you get blown out, or so. Certainly, I've been a part of that, but I just feel like this is a great thing to have going into the third year. Because people will expect 8 or 9 wins, and hell, they could have had them last year. If you look at a couple of games, the UCLA, you take the UCLA and Iowa game, turn those around, and all of a sudden you've got 8 or 9. So they've got to clean some things up. They've got to be better in every area. Better offensive line, better running game, better quarterback play, better defensive, better this, better that, better special teams. If they're better in every area than they were last year, they're going to do it. They're going to win more games. So, it's not like they have to take a huge challenge. They've just got to clean things up. I believe that starts with execution, and they've got a lot of smart guys. Sometimes smart guys get in their own way, where they have to. We're going to call an offense that is going to be unbelievably complicated, or we're going to call a defense that's going to do all this stuff, exotic stuff. And what and these guys don't need me to they don't need me to tell them this, but they just find out what these guys can do and then go do it. And be aggressive, play fast, play with confidence, and just give them. The key to next year is going to be execution, just making things happen, making plays, and not turning it over, not having penalties. So I think a lot of things are in place to do that.
I tend to agree. We'll take our final break of the show. Be back to wrap things up with Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald right after this. Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Right now, when you drive by Honda of Lincoln, you'll see more than 200 new Hondas and over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A few minutes left with Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald with us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Tom, we are a week away from more Nebraska men's basketball in our lives, but they're dropping some 2025-26 news on us. Sounds like they're getting the centerpiece of that team back, Rink Mast. They say full sales ahead. So the big Dutchman back for Nebraska men's basketball next season. Your reaction to that news?
Well, one, I think it's great. The offense moved a lot better with him. And, you know, when Fred's got a big man who can be a good passer and really let the offense go through him, it's a lot better. I didn't have that this year. But also, the timing's perfect because I was wondering about that because the transfer portal opened today, and I'm thinking, well, if you're the Nebraska staff, you want to know who's coming back, you know, because you got to know who you got to go replace. So the timing of this is perfect, and who knows, maybe they could sell some transfers on coming to play with Rink.
I would think so. It's an easy guy to play with, right? Whether you're a guard, you're a wing, you're another big man, that's a guy that absolutely makes your life easier with what he's able to do as a playmaker, his shooting ability for sure. And I think that's the first major win of the offseason for Nebraska is getting him back. But now, Tom, the question that we've been asking ourselves for a few months here on the show is, you know, can Nebraska go get another dude or two to pair with him, whether it's another big man that complements him, whether it's a lead guard to take some pressure off of him. Nebraska has accomplished the bare minimum in getting Rink Mast back to campus, but now the real work begins.
Yeah, it does. And look, the Big Ten is not like the SEC or the Big 12. It's not a league of really high caliber talent. It's not a league of, there's some first round picks, but it's not like if you watch the SEC games and Big Ten games, it's a different deal. So there's some dudes in the Big Ten, but there's certainly more plentiful in the other leagues. That said, yes, Nebraska needs, to win in the Big Ten, you've got to have size and a smart point guard who, can also score preferably. And you got to hit shots. And there are definitely some needs. I don't know who's coming back for Nebraska. Everybody's back. The people we think are back, they'll have size. But yeah, they could use a couple of shooters, a couple of wings to drive to the basket. You're not going to have Bryce. You're not going to have Jawan. So, we'd love to see Ephesian, his numbers, I can't complain about his numbers, but it always seemed like whenever I watched him, he wasn't making shots. So get him to be more consistent, maybe. But yeah, there are definitely some needs. I saw they have an opening on staff now. I don't know how good a recruiting. I don't think that's a great recruiting staff necessarily. It would be nice to maybe get a guy on there. I know we're in the transfer age, but little extra recruiting wouldn't hurt either.
Oh, and absolutely not. I mean, you need a relationships guy. I'm not going to say that the staff doesn't do a good job forming relationships, but Tom, that's in football and basketball, in the workforce, whatever. Relationships are what matter, right? I mean, Fred Hoiberg is a good guy that a lot of people seem to like, but is there another assistant coach that can go out on the trail that has a history in the game of basketball that knows players from this city or that city that Nebraska can dip back into? We haven't seen that yet. And the other part of this, too, is when Nebraska talks about getting dudes, sure, maybe they attract the odd NBA guy here or there. But I really think, Tom, for Nebraska men's basketball, the dudes that you're going to get are the guys that you go get for a couple years that end up being really good college players that maybe go play in Europe, maybe test the NBA waters, whatever it is. But Nebraska's not going to be an NBA factory for a while. If Nebraska can just get a bunch of dudes who are really good in college, get old and stay old, I think that'll work just as fine as going and getting some high wire flyers or whatever.
Well, I'd like to see a balance or a little bit of everything. I mean, I think what Fred has done the last few years has been really good, and that's the identity of the grinders, the guys who are going to play defense, are going to play physical, and are going to keep you in the game, and then a defense is going to help you go win it. He coached some outstanding offensive guys, and certainly Bryce Williams has been outstanding, but they could use a little more firepower on offense, to go with that defense. And, if I think, the guys that have really stood out the last few years, then I would venture to guess Fred would tell you are probably the best guys he's had. Starts with Sam Griesel. So you find a Griesel, you got Juwan and you got Bryce. Obviously, Casey was sort of a unicorn in a way. I don't know how many guys like that you're going to find, but Rank Mast is another guy that just makes things better, and there's a comfort level there. So I think you have your comfort level guys who aren't all superstars, but are certainly very good college basketball players. But if they can hit on somebody that's like a John Tonje, somebody that just kind of fell out of the sky up in Wisconsin this year, and just turn things around just by being himself.
Well, did Nebraska hit on that with Casey?
Yes. I don't know if that was. Yeah, I mean, it took a while, but yeah, absolutely it did. And so, the recruiting aspect of this is huge because they've got the scheme thing figured out. They're with Nate, the defensive coach, and of course Fred's offense. They've got the chalkboard's doing fine. And of course, the white grease board has a hole in it occasionally. But they need to not have to do that. You shouldn't have to motivate your players, especially in the era of the portal where it's mostly older guys. These guys, there needs to be leadership, and you can sort of recruit that to the formula. Go get some guys that are Sam Griesel. You didn't need the, he was going to take care of that stuff. So. If they can get that dynamic back in the locker room, a little more leadership, and find a guy to score, just a guy who can go drop some points, to go with the defense, to go with the passing of Mass and Brink, and they're not that far away from. And heck, they were close this year getting to the tournament. Well, it would have been a great season. Mm-hmm. So everybody's, jumped on Fred there, and, rightfully so. The last week wasn't good, but, and by the way, I was thinking today, Minnesota and Iowa hired their coaches, and I was thinking, well, now, now Fred's really going to have his hands full. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, he just lost to Minnesota and Iowa. He's already losing to them, and now they just hired better coaches. So it just got tougher.
It got tougher in a tough conference. Never gets tough talking to you, Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. Thanks as always for your hour, Tom. It's been a blast. We will do it again next week, same time.
Hey, thanks, Austin. I'll see you next week.
Tom writes for the Omaha World Herald, lead sports columnist for the World Herald. Check out his work on omaha.com, on Twitter at Tom Shatel, OWH as well. Great way to get things going here on a Monday night. Don't go anywhere. We got the Don't Pun Hour to Mornay Pearsonell, Harrison Arns. That's next.
Is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day with a light breeze. We'll see an afternoon high around 66. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, the low around 40. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. An afternoon high around 70. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.